Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to learn about the basics of bearings and cover some exam style questions on the same. Now, bearing is a term related with making angles, that is making angles between 2 points or between 3 points and so on. So usually if we are learning bearings, this will be related in areas of navigation. So let us see how to find out bearing and what it is. While covering the bearing, keep in your mind the three basic things you need to know. That is, if there is a given point, for example, if I am taking a point A and I want to find out what angle is being made between the point A and some other point B. So the way we are going to do it is, first we are going to draw a line between the 2 points. And the next thing is, if the question is being asked to find the bearing of B from A. So whichever letter comes after the from, we need to consider that point. So from A means we need to come and look at the A. And after coming to the point A, what we are going to do is, we are going to draw a straight line through the point A and name it as a N. N is the north direction for this point A. This is what we have to do in case of bearings. Now, when we draw this north line, it means we are going to start calculating the angle from 0 degrees. And we have to move always clockwise to this north line. So this comes 0 degrees, for example 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees and 40 degrees till it reaches the point B. So the thing which you have to remember is, if the bearing is asked of a point from another point, so we have to take the letter after the from, and from there we have to draw a north line, and the north line represents the 0 degrees, and always go clockwise. The anti-clockwise direction is not allowed in bearings. You have to always move clockwise direction. So move clockwise. So when you're moving clockwise, it becomes 0 degrees, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees until you reach the point B. It will be, for example, 40 degrees. So when we are writing the bearing of point B from A, we write it as 0, 4, 0 degrees. So the way we write bearing is always with a 3-digit number. So remember to put a 0 before it. So if you are getting 64 degrees, we write it as 0, 6, 4 degrees. These are the basics you need to know about the bearing. So after knowing the basics, let us start with some exam style questions. Now in this question, it says calculate the bearing from B to A. So after the word from, there is B. That means we have to come to the point B and we have to draw a north line and we have to move in the clockwise direction till we reach the point A. So that is what is being asked. Calculate the bearing from B to A. Now this diagram is already given in the question. Now to calculate this, for help they have given this angle as 114 degrees. So what we are going to do is, since this NA, and let me take this point as R, since NAR represents a straight line, this total angle is going to represent 180 degrees, because angle made by a straight line is 180 degree. So if out of 180 degree 114 is gone, then we are left with 180 minus 114. So let's see how much we get. We get it as 6, 7, 6. So we get this angle as 66 degrees. Let me erase the rest. Now, once I get this angle 66, we can see that this NA, B and N represents a corresponding angle. Corresponding angles are in the form of C or in the form of F, where the internal angles add up to 180 degrees. So the addition of these two internal angles is 180 degree. That means 66 degrees plus this angle, let me take this as X, should add up to and equal to 180 degrees since they are corresponding angles. They look like a C angle. So let us see, 60 degrees plus X is equal to 180 degrees. So X, it is 66, okay. So X is equal to 180 degrees minus 66. So let us see how much we get. We get it as 114 degrees. That means we have got the value of this angle. So let me just erase this X and write it here, this angle as 114 degrees. Now remember, we had to find the bearing from B to A. That was this angle which we had to find out. Since this angle and 114 completes a 360 degrees, we can find this angle as, let me take this red angle as Y. So we have 114 plus Y is equal to 360 degrees. So Y is equal to 360 degrees minus 114. So let us check how much we get. So it is 360 minus 114. So we get it as 246. So this angle we have it as 246 degrees. So the bearing or the angle made from point B to point A is 246 degrees. So as you can see, the basics of mathematical angles also is included over here, that is using the corresponding angles and straight angles, that also will be used, and some of algebra also will be used for solving the bearing questions. So finally you get the answer as 246 degrees. Since it is already a 3-digit, you do not have to add a 0 before that, as I had explained in the explanation. So it will stay as 246 degrees only. Now let us look at another exam style question. Here in this question, we have to write down the bearing of A from C. So after from, we have the point C. So we need to concentrate on point C and draw a north line from this point C. But they have already given us the diagram and they have already drawn the north line. No need to do that. So bearing of A from C. So we have to look at the north line and travel in the clockwise direction till we reach point A. We can see that it is already given here as 60 degrees. It's already calculated. So directly we write the answer as 060 degrees. Since 60 is 2 digits, we need to write it as a 3-digit. That's why we need a 0 to be added over here. Now in part B, write down the bearing of B from C. Write down the bearing of B from C. So again we come to the point C and look at the north line, and we keep traveling in the clockwise direction till we reach the point B. That means we have to find out this entire angle. Now this angle is already known, that is 60 degrees. This side angle is given as 140 degrees. So it's very easy to find this angle because 140 plus 60 plus, for example, I take this angle as X, they all add up to 360 degrees because they make a circle. So we can write it as 140 plus 60 degrees plus x is equal to 360 degrees. So 140 plus 60 is 200 plus x equal to 360 degrees. So x is equal to 360 degrees minus 200 degrees. So we end up with 160 degrees. So we got the x value as 160. So to find the bearing of B from C, that is this red line, moving from the north of the sea till we reach this point, we have the total angle as, here we have already got 60 plus this angle we have got it as 160. So it's going to be 60 plus 160, that's going to give us 220 degrees. That is the bearing of B from C. This is part B. So it's quite easy to find the bearings if you understand the concepts thoroughly. Let us look at some exam style questions having word problems. An airplane flies from Geneva on a bearing of 31 degrees for 200 kilometers. So what we will do is we will take a capital G for Geneva and draw a point over here, that is G. And the airplane flies from Geneva on a bearing of 31 degrees. That means we have to draw a straight line showing a north for the Geneva, and since this represents 0 degrees, we are going in the clockwise direction to have 31 degrees to be drawn. So it makes a 31 degrees, for example this way. So this is going to make 31 degrees. Plus it says that it is traveling for 200 kilometers. That means the entire journey traveled by the airplane is 200 kilometers. They are talking about the entire blue line. It then changes course and flies for 140 kilometers on a bearing of 75 degrees. So after reaching this point, let me draw it a little bit below. Okay, so after traveling for 200 kilometers, it is again going to change its direction for 75 degrees. So what we are going to do is, let us take this point as R, and again we are going to draw a north line from R and again we are going to travel for clockwise direction, and it should make an angle of 75 degrees. That means somewhat around like this. So it's making an angle of 75 degrees if we are moving clockwise. And the distance traveled in this direction is 140 kilometers. So let me write here as 140 kilometers. Let's see what is being asked. Find the distance of Geneva from the airplane. So after flying from Geneva, the airplane has reached at this point. So let me take the airplane as A. They want us to find the distance of Geneva from the airplane. That means from Geneva till airplane, what is the total distance? So we can take it as x. So this is 200 kilometers. Let me write it again above to avoid confusion. Okay. So this was 200 kilometers and this is 140 kilometers and this is x. Now to find out x, we have to make use of sine rule or cosine rule, whatever suits best. So if you want to go through the sine rule and cosine rule, I have explained in a video. I will attach the link in the description box so you can go through it. So let's see how to solve this example now. Now, by observation, you can see that from N, G, R, N. So N, G, R, N. It's somewhat like this. So it represents a corresponding angle. So if this is 31 degrees, this angle is going to be 180 degree minus 31 degrees. So let us check how much we get. 180 minus 31. It gives us 149. That means we have got this angle as 149. Now after this side we have 75 degrees, this side we have 149 degrees, so we can easily find out this angle, that is angle R, because they make up a circle that is equal to 360 degrees. So we can write it as 149 plus 75 plus angle R is equal to 360 degrees. So angle R is going to be equal to 360 degrees minus 149 minus 75 degrees. So we got it as 136 degrees. So let me write angle R as 136. Okay. So we have got the angle now. Now here we have two sides given and an angle in between the two sides. That means this triangle can be solved using the cosine rule. So here the cosine rule, let me see how to write it. Let me erase this. So the cosine rule is written as, I'll start with the x side. So if I'm moving with the x side, I have to move to the 200 kilometers. So from x it goes to 200 kilometers and from 200 it goes to 140 kilometers. I have explained all the steps for the cosine rule and the sine rule in the video previously uploaded. So to understand this example clearly, you can go through the video uploaded on cosine rule. So here I'm going to start with the x because I need to find out the side x. So I will write it as x square equals, as you can see, x is followed by the other side, 200 square, plus the other side, that is 140 kilometers, 140 square, minus 2 times, I have to repeat the sides. So it's written as 200, that is this side, times 140 times cos of the angle which is in between these two sides, which is angle R. So here it is 136 degrees. So let us put up in the calculator. Remember that this term needs to be put inside the bracket together. So here we get 200 square plus 140 square minus, I'm going to put up everything in the bracket, 2 times 200 times 140 times cos of 136 degrees. So let's see what we get. We get it as 99,883.02. So 999,883.02. This is the x square. So if I have got to find out the value of x, I have to square root it. So square root of 99,883.02. So let us check what we get. Square root of answer equals 316.04. So 316.04. Was it in kilometers? Yes, it was in kilometers. This is kilometers. So this is the distance between Geneva and the airplane. Now the next question asks the bearing of Geneva from the airplane. Bearing means they are talking about the angle now. From the airplane, that means we should come to the point where the airplane is present and we have to draw a north line at the airplane, and then we have to start going in the clockwise direction till we reach Geneva, which is over here. Now to find this, what we can think about is, if I extend this line, this complete angle is 180 degree. So we have got it as 180 degree. This is found. And somehow if I find out this angle, I can add up with 180 degrees and get the complete bearing. Now one of the technique which we can use here is, we can see that this north line and the line GA and this straight line makes a Z angle or an alternating angle. So if we can find out this complete angle, then it will obviously be equal to this complete angle as a Z angle. Now for this angle, the angle 31 is already given. So we need to find out this small angle. Let me redraw it so that it will be clear to you. I'll be taking only the triangle for time's sake. Something like this, and this, and we had R here, and we had Geneva here, and we had airplane here, and here it had traveled for 200 kilometers. Here it had traveled for 140 kilometers, 316.04. And we had got the angle R as 136 degrees. So 136 degrees. So this is the angle we need to find out. In this case, we can see that two sides or three sides are given and one angle is given. So the best way to do it is using a sine rule. So if I take this as x, I can write the sine rule as sine x, sine of angle x, over the opposite side to it is RA and it has side 140 kilometers. So I write it as 140 equals, I can take the angle 136. So sine of angle 136 divided by its opposite side, which is 316.04. So since we have to find angle x, let us keep the sine x on one side, equals this 140 goes over here and gets multiplied with sine 136 divided by 316.04. So let us check how much we get there. So we have 140 times sine 136 divided by 316.04. So we have it as 0.3077. Always make sure that you are taking after the decimal point at least 4 digits whenever you are finding the angle. So sine of x. So x will be equal to, the sine goes on the other side and becomes sine inverse. Sine inverse of 0.3077. So we get here as, shift sine to get sine inverse, 0.3077. So we get it as 17.92. So we have the angle as 17.92 degrees. So we come over here and we write it as 17.92. So this total angle, that is NGA, is going to be 31 plus 17.92. So we get it as 48.92 degrees. Hence, since it is a alternating angle, we got this side as 48.92 degrees. So finally, to find out the bearing of the Geneva from the airplane, we add 48.92 with the complete 180 degrees. So we get it as 180 plus 48.92. So we get the total angle or the bearing angle as d plus 48.92. It is 228.92. 8.92 degrees. This is what we get for the part B. So from here onwards the part B solution starts. And this is for entirely for part A. So as you can see, bearing also needs a basic knowledge of cosine rule and sine rule to solve the examples easily. Let us look at another exam style question. Alright, the question says a mount X is 9 kilometers from a mount Y on a bearing of 146 degrees. So let me take a point Y here, and since the bearing is given from mount Y, we are going to take a north line over here. It's the north, and we have to travel 146 degrees. So if we look at this, if this is the north line and we take the 0 degrees from the north, this is going to be 90 degrees, this is going to be 180 degrees, and this is going to be 270 degrees. And if we come back to the north line, we are going to have a complete loop that's going to make it as 360 degrees. So 146 degrees comes in between 90 and 180 degrees, as we can see here. So let us draw a line over here. 146 degrees is approximately here. So similarly we are going to draw a line here. So that's going to be 146 degrees. Now this is going to be the mount X, and it is at 9 kilometers distance away from point Y. Next it says mount Z is 14 kilometers away from mount X and on a bearing of 72 degrees from mount Y. So the bearing is important here. It's from mount Y. So 72 degrees comes somewhere around here between 0 and 90 degrees. So what we are going to do is we are going to just draw a angle over here, which is going to be equal to 72 degrees, and this is going to be mount Z, and it says it is 14 kilometers away from mount X. So if we join this line from X to Z, it's going to be 14 kilometers away. Once we have drawn all the things, the question is asking us to find the bearing of X from a Z. That means if we are drawing a north line at Z position over here, the bearing of X from Z, that means we will start from Z point, we keep on moving till we reach the point X. This angle is what we need to find out. Now if we see here, this north line till Y and till Z and again till north point, it's going to make a corresponding angle, as I had explained previously. So here if it is going to be 72 degrees, as we have it over here, this is 72, we can find this angle by taking it as 180 minus 72 degrees. So that is going to be equal to 108 degrees. So we got this angle, which is 108 degrees. Now somehow if we find out what is the value of this angle, then we can combine these two angles and subtract it from 360, because this makes a complete circle. So to find out this angle, what we are going to do is, let us just find out this angle first. So it's going to be, obviously it is completely 146 and this is 72. So the remaining angle is going to be 146 minus 72. That gives you equal to 74 degrees. So we have got this angle as 74 degrees. Now let me just concentrate on this triangle. I'll just redraw it over here. So it's going to look somewhat like this. I'm just redrawing the same triangle. So this is 9 kilometers. This angle we just now got it as 74 degrees. And we have this side as 14 kilometers. And we were looking for this angle, that is over here. So let me name them. This was X, this was Y, and this was Z. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to name the sides over here. Now to angle Z, the opposite side is 9 kilometers, so I'll write it as small z. Now to angle Y, 14 kilometers is the side opposite, so I will write it as small y. Now to find this angle, we can use the sine rule and write it as sine of angle Y over side Y equals sine of angle Z, which we have to find, over side Z. So sine of angle 74 degrees over Y is 14 kilometers equals sine of angle Z over its side, which is 9 kilometers. So to find out sine Z, we do the cross multiplication. Sine Z is equal to 9 multiplies with sine 74. So 9 times sine 74 divided by 14. So let's check how much we get here. So it is 9 times sine 74 divided by 14. So we have 0.61795. So we can take it and round it off as 0.6180. So this is sine Z. And if you want to find out only the angle, we have to do sine inverse of 0.6180. So that is going to be equal to, so sine inverse of 0.6180, that's going to be 38.17. So we got the angle here as 38.17 degrees. So this is the angle over here. So 38.17. Now let us come back to this triangle. We have got it as 38.17. Now once we got this, we can add the 108 degrees with 38.17 and subtract it from 360 degrees to get this complete angle. So we have now 108 degrees plus 38.17 degrees plus, we can take this missing angle as M, So plus angle M is equal to 360 degrees. So angle M is going to be equal to 360 degrees minus 108 degree minus 38.17. So let's see how much we get. 360 minus 108 minus 38.17. So we have it here as 213.83. So here the answer is 213.83 degrees. So this is the angle or the bearing of X from Z. So if you are liking my videos, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.